Dracarys.
What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back. Sunday Night Live. We are talking The Prisoner of Azkaban tonight. Hope you guys are able to watch it. I have mixed feelings on this one. We'll get into that today, though. But I'm going to bring on my guests because we have a slideshow. We want to talk a little bit about this movie. I have a bunch of questions myself. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Don't forget to smash that like when you come on in. And let's get this thing rolling here. I'm going to bring my co-host on, Mr. Ryan Milky. What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I have many questions. I have many feelings on this one. I told Lily earlier, my biggest issue is these movies are long and there's a lot. And it almost seems like they're always like two completely different parts of the movie. At least that's how I felt through these first three. Like I almost feel like you can almost make two movies in each of these. There's a lot here, especially in this one because we're meeting so many new characters. But yeah,
now you get to grips and to understand why us Potterheads watch it so much and have seen them so many times because they always just keep giving, you know?
Yeah,
they're really good though.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, there's a couple things I didn't really like in the episode, but there's some things that I think are the best out of the first three. So it'll be interesting when we get to the rankings because I've been feeling you guys are probably going to make me increase my score that I'm thinking right now. At least that's what I hope. Real quick, let's say hey to Vibeman. How you doing, man? How you doing? All right, I'm gonna bring on Lily of Fire now. What's going on? She got her wands, so she's gonna be casting some spells on me tonight, I think. Patronum, there you go. So, all right, well, opening thoughts on this movie. I'll go first, and then that way I can kind of hear what you guys think. So, for me, this movie was uneven. The first 20 minutes, I hated. I absolutely hated it. The whole ant scene, did not like it at all. I just thought it was weird and goofy, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of want these step parents to die or just get out of the shows. Like I don't know if that happens, but I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. It's the same repetitive beginning. I feel like in the first three movies, like we get it. They're annoying. They don't like Harry. He kind of runs away. So hopefully, I'm hoping this is the last time we got to see them because I can't stand them. So I thought the first 20 minutes was kind of annoying. The whole double, triple decker bus thing that was cool. You could tell just the CGI from this movie, from the first movie, is so much better in this one. So I mean, we'll get to the Dementors and we'll get to the spell casting and even the what's his name, Buzzbeak or something. What's his name? Buckbeak. I mean, that he was awesome, but like it just I don't know. The first 20 minutes for me just didn't do it, but after that, I started kind of liking it, and you definitely see that turn in more of a dark story moving forward. What the thing is, I like going into it because I know I talked to you guys last week about this, and you guys kind of said like, "Oh, this is like kind of when you see the turn in darkness," and I do see that, but they're still keeping it light enough because I still thought there were some goofy parts in this, and that's what I like about it though, because it's not like just completely turning dark. Because I do know where the story leads, and I know it does get darker and darker. So I thought it was a good little just the way they do it, the way they kind of turn it and move the story forward with it. So I don't know, Lily. I know you said you enjoyed this book, and what do you think about the movie?
Yes, it's absolutely my favorite book of the whole series, and it's my second favorite movie, but it's a close tie for my first favorite movie too, just because I love the story so much and I love the introduction to my favorite character, Sirius Black, whose wand I got this past summer at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So I was super happy about that. But I rate this movie a 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I rated it
Stay out the park.
I love it.
Stay out the park.
I love it.
Love it.
Okay. Interesting. So you have no problems with the beginning of the movie at all?
No, I think it's great. And when we're ready, I'll talk a little bit about the changes that came for this one. But okay. I think it's fantastic. There is a lot of story going on here. She simply doesn't write a simple story, So it has a lot of moving parts to it. And I think I like that. And I think you've probably watched Star Wars multiple times, right?
Yeah, and that's
And
the thing. I think
each
and
time
that's
you
why.
read it or watch it, you get a
Yeah.
little bit more out of it, and things make more sense, and you catch things and make connections, and that happens with these two.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying in the opening. Like I feel like I'm watching them not super fast, but like I definitely am watching them back to back nights, or like today I watched part of the second one or part of the next one for tomorrow, and I had to stop because I'm starting to like I'm gonna get the movies confused because I'm watching them so
Yeah.
quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to put more time in between the episodes or in between the movies itself, because I think that's where I'm having a hard time with all the just the verbiage. I mean, it's and then it took me a long time to learn that in Star Wars. So you're right about that. So Ryan, what do you think your overall comments and remarks of the movie?
I like this movie. It's not my favorite. It's mediocre for me. It's good. The book is my favorite. This third book is probably, once thinking about it, it is very detailed, as Lily has already said. She tells a story, and it's not a very simple story that she tells in this book. And yeah, the introduction of all the cool characters that we get to see going forward that stick along with the story. Lily's again already mentioned Sirius Black, and we get another couple of cool characters in this one. Yeah, I like the movie. I prefer the book. I think there's only one movie that I think is better than the book. So yeah, I think we'll probably get to that again later down the line. But just overall, fantastic film. It's darker, and one of my biggest things that I take away from this film is I got to see a lot more outside of Hogwarts, because you don't get to see much outside Hogwarts in many of these films. But this one, you see the travel, the time it takes for them to travel from class to class, and you see them going through the school. I really enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think this is the first movie we actually get to see Hogsmeade, right? I mean, they don't really go there. They go to Diagon Alley, but they don't actually go to Hogsmeade. I don't think I've seen it. That was pretty cool. They actually we get to see that now, because again, just walking through that in Disney World, and again, Ryan, I know you're in the UK, so you don't have the chance to do that right now, but it's absolutely amazing, and that's really what started getting me hooked on to want to do this, because like I said, I have seen most of their movies, but like just being there and spending basically 3 full days walking around there, and it's just really really cool. But yeah, all right. So we have a little slideshow. We'll kind of this will help us get our talking points, because again, there is a ton in this movie. So we'll probably spend some time on these slides. But let's pull this up.
Hey everybody in the chat, good to see you all. Anthony Blaze, Umpty Scratch, Duck Dodgers. How you doing, guys? Umpty says Darkness is the best Pokemon energy. Just saying.
That is correct. What's up, Duck? How you doing, man? What time does the concert start? Soon. All right. So, Lily, you wanted to kind of fill us in on what is different now in this movie compared to the first two, and we know the big one is Dumbledore. So go ahead.
Yes. So Chris Columbus directed the first two, and I was reading an article that said he had every intention to direct all of them. But then after he directed the first two, each took about 160 days of filming, which is a lot for a film. And it was exhausting, and it took a really big toll on him. It was very involved, and he has a family. And so at the time, the children were younger, and he felt like he was never going to see his family. He was never going to see his children. And so that's when it went to a new director. I think it's Alfonso Cuarón. Sorry, dude, if I'm saying your name wrong. But the book itself takes a darker turn, and the kids are getting older. Harry's 13 in this one. So the maturity is rising too. And the director really hit on that. Like the whole mood of the film, even the visual effects and how it's lit and everything like that is literally darker, scarier. And so I was telling you guys earlier, my daughter, who's about to be 9, she tapped out on this one. It got too scary for her, and she lost interest there. So there's a new Dumbledore too, because the first Dumbledore unfortunately passed away after Chamber of Secrets. So is it Richard Harris, Milky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Who's the new one, right?
Michael Gambon, I believe, is this new one, right? It was Richard
Oh,
Harris.
okay.
That was the
Richard
original.
Harris was the first one. Okay, so, and I think, and I said it last time too, that the newer Dumbledore is how I read the character in the books. It was just a little bit of a stronger, more powerful Dumbledore. So that's a difference too. But we love the first one too. Anything, Milky, you think about all that?
No, I think you pretty much hit it out in the park. That's all that changes, really, the differences. Yeah.
All right, so my first question before we get too far into this, we can go ahead and move on with because it has to do with next character. So Sirius Black. Okay, so this is the first time he's even been mentioned, right? The only reason why I wasn't super confused is because at least I've heard about him, and this is the movie I've never seen before. This is the one I skipped for some reason. I know he was he was supposed. I know we find out later in the movie that he ends up being, and this is a small spoiler for moving forward, but it's fine. So he ends up being the godfather of Harry is what we find out, right?
We found that out in this movie. Yeah.
In this movie, okay. So the reason why he goes to prison, make sure I got this correctly, is because I know we were kind of talking a little bit backstage. So he went to prison because they thought he had killed 12 Muggles, and also was responsible for partly with the death of Harry Potter's parents. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my question is I guess what I missed maybe is how was he related, or how did he know Harry Potter's father? That's the one part I didn't.
Best friend with James.
He was what?
He was James's best friend at school. They were best friends.
So in school, like at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was okay. That's why, and then that's why he made him. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
That's correct, right, Lily? They were best friends at school?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he gets introduced in this movie. It starts off, so I know Headless, you didn't like the first scene where it starts off when Harry's still with the Dursleys, and like a great aunt or whoever she was, Petunia's sister or somebody, comes and visits, and she's horrible too, just like them, even more horrible. And Harry uses magic, and he dumps a dessert all over her head. And then Harry gets on the night bus, that's where we see the darkness for the first time. Things take a turn, start getting kooky. There's little voodoo doll head that's just a head that's talking and giving directions and all sorts of stuff. And
I thought that part was weird too, actually.
So what do you think of the voodoo head? While we're there, what do you think of the voodoo head, Lily? Because that's not.
I love the voodoo head.
That's not in the book at all.
Because you see them later when they're in Hogsmeade in one of the shops too.
Yeah.
So I like
Shrunken
them.
heads. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I was massive on the books,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't understand the point of it. I guess I was like, I'm just watching it. Like, I guess. I mean, and
for him to get from one place to the next, and he did bring up something that you would have asked, Headless, is don't the Muggles see us? And they're like, no, the Muggles don't see anything. They don't have any idea what's going on. Yeah. And they even used magic to make the bus small to fit through that little skinny place. And while they're on the bus, there's the animated newspaper, which I think is super cool, that shows Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban. And he's the first prisoner that in the history of Azkaban that's ever been able to get past the guards, who are the Dementors, which is also a big part of this movie.
See, I thought it was so in the beginning too, when he's still with his whatever I guess his aunt and uncle. On the back of that paper, it says that he was in prison still, right? Because he hadn't escaped yet. I could have swore that we saw an image of that at the house too. I don't know who. Someone was reading the paper.
I thought it was that he escaped. Milky, no? So that's how the whole thing started out.
So in the movie, you first learn about Sirius Black on the bus, on the paper, and he asks, "Who's that?" You've never heard of Sirius Black? And he tells him. But in the book, I do want to add, in the book, Harry actually finds out about Sirius Black very early on in the book because he watches the TV, and it's on the Muggle news channel for Muggles to look out for Sirius Black, because another character that we find later on, Cornelius Fudge, who works for the Ministry of Magic, thought that it was that important that they also got the Muggles involved to try and find him because he was that dangerous. They don't add any of that in the movie. So in the book, he already kind of hears about Sirius Black from the very beginning, and they kind of sow that seed all the way through it until later on. And we see him in the bush as a dog. We don't know that yet, but we see him as a dog in the bush. In the book, he never sees him in a bush. It's in an alleyway. So just tiny little different things. But, to me, they make cool little different things. But let's carry on.
Let's talk about the fact that Sirius Black is played by Gary Oldman, who's one of the most amazing actors on the face of the earth. And I love him so much, so much, so much. And when I read the book, he was already my favorite character after this. And then when the movie came out and it was announced that he was playing him, it was like, oh my God, there could not be a more perfect person to play him.
Yep. And for anybody that doesn't know who he might be, think of the Dark Knight series Batman. Think of Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. That's Sirius Black.
He also was Sid Vicious and Sid Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good actor. And it's funny you said that. I didn't even realize that was him. That's how good he is. Because it's like a totally different role than what I'm used to seeing him in, So let's talk about the Dementors for a few minutes. So the first time we kind of see these guys are when they're traveling on Hogwarts Express back to Hogwarts, and they get into the train, and it's funny because like they get into a train car, and there's already somebody in there like sleeping, an adult, and I find it weird that they actually just still go in there. So I don't is that because that's what that's where they always have to go, or like why would I would move on to the next one.
It was the only semi-empty carriage in the book at that point. Okay. I know Draco, Crabbe, and Goyle go to the carriage earlier on. They see the sleeping teacher and they leave him in there because they want to go to one on their own so they can talk sneaky stuff. So they don't use that carriage, and then later on, Harry, Ron, and Hermione come and they go in there.
So did they know that was a teacher, or they just had no idea who it was?
They didn't have no idea. They didn't know.
Okay. Because at the beginning, I thought that was Sirius Black for a second. I thought he was just on there and he like snuck on there or something. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what it's making you believe all the way through it. It's trying to put you into that false sense of security.
Okay. So then the Dementors actually come onto the train, and this is like what happens in Disney World when you take the express from one side of the park to the other side of the park. And unfortunately, I had never seen this movie, so that whole experience, I felt it was kind of like, okay, this is cool, but like I didn't even know what movie it was from. And now I want to go back and see it because actually seeing it play out on screen, So the Dementors. So Lily, tell us about the Dementors. So they are protecting Azkaban.
They are
guards.
They are the people. Well, the people, not the people. Whatever they are, the things that guard Azkaban, the prison. And so they are being called to protect Hogwarts and all the children from Sirius Black because they think he is out to murder more people, that he's just a crazy killer. And so they're there to protect him, but they will kill anything that gets in their way. So like once the kids get to Hogwarts this year, Dumbledore tells them, look, we have strict rules. You got to stay inside the castle. Definitely can't be out at night. Can't be roaming anywhere by yourself because if you get in the path of a Dementor who's looking for Sirius, it doesn't know that you're good or bad with him, without him. They're just there to kill in order to get to Sirius.
Okay. So who actually calls the Dementors over to Hogwarts to help or protect them? Is it Dumbledore or is it somebody like
I would say the Minister of Magic.
Okay.
Yeah, probably him and Dumbledore together made that decision.
Okay. So the Dementors are just guards. So okay. So like going into this movie, maybe this is why maybe I was a little bit disappointed in at least the beginning because then I saw where I was going and I did enjoy the second half much more than the first half. I guess I was disappointed because I thought we were going to the prison. I thought Harry, Hermione, Ron, I thought they were all going, and we never even see a picture of the prison. So I don't know. I thought it was going to be off campus, a different little adventure, different scenery, and maybe I just went in thinking something completely different. So I don't know. Maybe that's just kind of what my thoughts were going into this movie, and but once they got to Hogwarts, I kind of figured, well, I guess they're staying here because they're not going to really do anything else. But okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
All right, so let's.
Do you like the Dementors?
Yeah, I thought they were cool. I mean, obviously they remind me of the Ring Wraiths a lot. I don't know what came first, Ring Wraiths or Dementors, but it's very similar style, with the
Ring
dark
Wraiths.
the Ring Wraiths from
Tolkien
Lord of the
was
Rings.
way earlier. Yeah, Tolkien was well earlier than J.K. Rowling, so yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so just that's just what it reminded me of. Chat, you guys can let us know, who do you like better, the Ring
I don't
Wraiths?
know what that means.
Ring Wraiths. They're very similar though. They try to.
You ever seen Lord of the Rings, Lily?
Just the first one.
Yeah, they're in there.
So the ones that are on the mountaintop with the black hoods and they chase them up the hill.
Oh.
And they have the and they sit on the horses.
I wasn't a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Someone didn't watch our Ring of Power breakdowns.
Yeah. So the kiss they do is called the Dementor's Kiss. It's and they also make you relive your worst fears or worst. What is it? They make you relive your worst nightmares or memories, something like that. Yeah, they're pretty scary, pretty horrible things.
All right, so let's talk about Remus Lupin here. So he's the one we actually see in the bus, and I think he actually uses the spell in the bus to get rid of the Dementors, doesn't he?
Yep.
I think so.
I don't know if he says anything though. I'm trying to.
But he kind of just stands up because I think that's the scene right there on the left. So Ryan, tell me about this character because I saw him and I'm like, I have no clue who this guy is.
He's the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher for this year.
And the previous one was who? Do you remember?
Gilderoy Lockhart, correct?
Yeah. Then okay. So that's the one that we saw in Chamber of Secrets. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is Lupin.
This is like the third one in 3 movies, then, right? It's like a different teacher every time.
Yeah, it pretty much changes a lot. Yeah.
All right.
He's the teacher that teaches Harry how to defend himself against Dementors. We see it in this scene. Obviously, he does it, but later on in the episode, he has lessons with him. He teaches him. I think, in my opinion, this is my favorite Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. In all of them, I love him. Love Lupin.
I think I probably agree with you.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah, I love him. I love his character. And I don't want to give too much away, but like I say, if you're here listening to this, we spoke about this the other day, didn't we? We don't want to give away stuff early on, but if you're here listening to us and you've watched the movie, so you already know that this guy turns into a wolf, and he's an animagus, which is cool. There's a lot of them in this episode of this series. There's quite a lot of animagi. I think that's the correct terminology. But yeah, Lupin's a great guy, great teacher, and again, my favorite Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I think he was the one guy that was in it for pure love and didn't have any other. I don't know. He didn't have any other reasoning to be there. He just loved being a teacher and being in Hogwarts.
See, this is, and maybe this is why I'm confused because I don't understand the lore of the what do you call it? How do you say it?
Animagi.
Animagi. So
shapeshifter basically. Well, it's not really a shapeshifter
So when he turns into this werewolf, which we see later in the movie, he has no control.
Yes. But there's a difference. And so the animagus or animagus, however you say it, they do have control and they choose to turn into an animal. He is a werewolf. And so he can take a potion to prevent him from turning. But you see in this movie, wrong time, wrong place. He hadn't taken his potion when the full moon comes out. And so that is a little bit of a scary part.
Yeah, because then he tries to attack everybody. And it's like, then at the end of the movie, he's like talking to him like they're best friends again. And I was super confused. I was like, wait a minute, this dude just trying to kill you.
Yeah, so Sirius is an animagus. He chooses to turn
Sirius
into the dog.
Peter.
Like he learned how to do that when they were young, and that's how Peter Pettigrew, aka Wormtail, that is how that is connected.
Right. Yeah,
we'll talk about correct.
Yeah, I got that wrong. He's not animagi.
So
and he also helped. He's also one of the guys that created the Marauders map, I believe. Remus.
I think so.
Okay, so is this something that they have always been, or just something that they learned at Hogwarts, and this is something that they wanted to become?
It's just the animagus is a spell that they learned how to do.
So it was their choice to want to turn into an animal.
Yes, because it has certain benefits, as we'll continue to see.
Okay. So Sirius Black was a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Correct. And then, so he's the werewolf. And then, well, I don't know where the next character is on the list, but I'll skip down because now that we're talking about this, it makes sense to go to him. So we're going to skip down to Peter. So he's at the very end of the movie. Again, I had no clue who this guy was. Like I was like, wait, what's happening? And then I see him get thrown off a cliff, and I don't even know what happened to him. So please explain who this guy is, because I'm again, they're just throwing so many characters at the end of the movie at you, and you're like, wait, who's who? And
well, we actually saw him earlier.
Did see him earlier
when Harry got the Marauders map, which he got from Fred and George.
Correct.
Who got it from Filch's office their first year. They stole it. It allows you to see every movement of anybody in Hogwarts. Does it work anywhere you are, Milky, or is it just for Hogwarts?
I believe it's just Hogwarts.
Okay, so anywhere inside the building, they see little footsteps and it says who's where. And Harry very early on sees Peter Pettigrew, who's supposed to be dead.
I solemnly swear I am up to no good. Yeah, they open it up and then that's the magic spell. Because to anyone else looking at it, it's just a parchment piece of paper. You have to do the spell to make the Marauders map work.
Yeah, you have to say mischief managed so that nobody else can see what's going on.
Yeah, that's how you put it away. Yeah.
So we find out that he is actually it's Ron's like ferret or rat?
His rat, yeah, his pet rat that he got.
That rat, so he's actually been in all three movies technically. Right?
I believe so.
Okay. So he
was always kind of like he's always Ron's rat.
He's always Ron's rat, so he's just kind of been laying low, and then all of a sudden we find out that.
Yeah.
So why?
Because in the books, Hermione gets Scabbers the cat, and Scabbers is always chasing the rat, and we never understand why. And then you find out that it's not actually a rat; it's actually a person, and that's why she was always going crazy for it. But yeah, that's more backstory.
Why was he hiding as a rat the entire time?
Because he was the one that ratted out Harry's parents to where Voldemort was. He told Voldemort where James and Lily were, and Voldemort went and killed them.
So he's actually the one who's guilty then, not Sirius. Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah. Peter Pettigrew was the one that ratted Lily and James in to Voldemort. He went because he was the fourth of the four group of friends. Lily, James, I think it was, wasn't it? No, James, Sirius, Remus, and Peter Pettigrew. They were the four.
And they're the ones that came up with the animagus spell to use together. And then Peter turned on them and framed Sirius for it.
So at the end of this, so let's just finish off the Peter part because it's important, but like it happens so fast. So he gets thrown off the cliff, doesn't he? Isn't that what happens, or am I missing something here? Or does he doesn't escape, does he?
Well,
yeah, he does escape.
But he does escape?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking that somebody got thrown off a cliff?
I don't know. I don't remember somebody getting thrown off a cliff. But didn't he turn into a rat again and away?
That's what that scene is. I thought he was saying goodbye to them, and he gets caught. They tried to grab him, and he goes goodbye, and then turns back into a rat and runs off.
Okay. So and this will be a spoiler for other movies, but so will we see Peter again?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that storyline is not over then at that point. Okay.
No.
All right. Cool. Yeah. We don't.
He also was another guy that created the Marauders map. Peter Pettigrew.
So was it like the four of them? Did you say it was four of them? So
I believe so. Yeah, it was the four of them, and then the two guys that are on the actual map. The name.
Yeah. Anybody in the chat that is a Potterhead, if you know the answer to that.
So the people's on there's two names on the map.
I think it's the 4 names of their Animagi, isn't it? Isn't it Padfoot and Prongs, Thingy and Thingy, and then it's the Marauders map. It says something like that. So what is it? It's what's the name of the things? It's Padfoot, Prongs, Mooney, and Wormtail.
Okay.
I think that's what it says on the front of the Marauders map, that they were the guys that created the Marauders map. Well, that's actually the Animagi names of the 4 characters.
And
I
so
have a pair of shoes that have the Marauders map on them.
Yeah, I've seen them. They look amazing. I think I've seen them on the internet. The Marauders map, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. Yep.
How you doing, Sue? All right. I think I'm starting to get it.
Okay.
There's a lot. There's definitely a lot.
There is a lot, yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I guess I just never really pieced that together with those 4. But now the way you make it sound, it makes sense. All right, so now, so who wants to fill us in? Cornelius Fudge. This is where I'm probably the most confused in this whole lore thing with this. And again, when you see the movie one time and you don't watch it again in between movies, and it's been how long since this movie's been out, it's always the Ministry of this magic or defense or whatever. This is always the most confusing part for me.
So just imagine there has to be a big council of people who are in charge of all the wizards, because otherwise people with the power of magic can just run amok and it can be complete chaos. So there is a council of people in power, and he's the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge. So,
so like when Harry Potter uses magic,
introduced in this one.
When Harry Potter uses magic outside of Hogwarts, isn't he supposed to get in trouble for that?
Yes, but they have bigger fish to fry right now, and that's why when he got pulled into his office, that's why Harry thought he was there, because he was like, "Oh no, I'm going to get expelled from Hogwarts because I did magic on my aunt." He's like, "Harry, we've got a murderer on the loose. We don't care that you blew up your aunt and sent her into the sky. We don't care about that."
Okay,
it's funny because that's what he thinks is why he's in trouble. But he was in his bed using magic to see the thing. You know, it always confuses me how he always uses magic at the beginning of the movies, and it's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're out of school. You know, I can't remember. It was Lumos, I think it was. He was trying to light up, and Vernon kept coming in, and he was sleeping. I was like, you're already in trouble.
He was like trying to what was he trying to look at? He was looking at some kind of map or something. But what was
Lumos
that?
Maxima. What was he looking at? I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was that important.
He was looking at
just an exercise, just a work exercise, I believe.
Okay, is that what it was? Okay, all right. So my next question is, how do they know if magic is used outside? Like, how do they know?
Because they're just radar set.
But they don't say who's doing it, right? Or
no, they can't pinpoint who it is. They just know about where. And because Harry was the only one on Privet Drive that is of magical being, they know that it must have been Harry that did it. But because obviously they didn't know Dobby had paid him a visit. They didn't know any of this stuff.
Okay.
You know? And another thing in the movie, the ant doesn't in the movie the ant leaves the house and goes down the street. You know, when she's a balloon.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in the book. She stays in the house.
I thought she was.
Yeah, I think she went up to the ceiling, didn't she?
Yeah, the ceiling of the conservatory windows outside, and she just stuck to she was bouncing inside the conservatory.
Yeah, I thought she was going to keep floating up.
She does, because then when Harry goes out into the street after he runs away, you can see her flying in the sky. Yeah.
But we never technically know how. I mean, how do we know she got down? And how did she? We don't. I know we don't care. I just
wizards. We don't care about those Muggles that are just horrible to Harry.
I just hope we never have to see her again. So that's okay. So this dude kind of makes sure this guy basically keeps everyone in check for the most part.
He's the Minister of Magic. Yeah, I think he also bridges the gap between the Muggles and the Wizards. So I mentioned earlier, he will give a news announcement to the Muggle world to say, look out for Sirius Black because he's a dangerous guy. They don't tell them he's come from a magical prison and he's full of magic. They just say, look out for this escaped convict. So,
and sometimes they have to cover up, like if something crazy happens in the wizarding world that Muggles would have noticed, they would cover it up. The ministry helps cover it up in the Muggle world to make it make sense for them.
So real quick, back to the aunt and uncle. So they know Harry goes to Hogwarts and they know he's got magic. They know all that. So what are those? Are those people something else? Or are they just still just Muggles? Or because they know? Okay. There's no other term for someone who knows about the magical world, even though they don't have any magic powers themselves. Nothing.
No,
Don't think so.
I'm assuming they don't ever say anything because they're terrified too, because they know that the wizarding world could just do whatever they wanted to them.
Okay. Okay. Like I said, I'm just trying to get all the lore down. All right. So then we have Sybil Trillion, who is a new professor as well, correct?
Yep, divinations.
All right. So explain to us what that is.
Me?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. This is Hermione's wand.
Deviations, you said, right?
Divination.
Divination.
So this is like palm reading and crystal ball and predictions and things like that. And she, in the books, was known to predict death, but not ever accurate about it. And she's real kooky. And this is Emma Thompson, and she does a great job at this role. And when they were leaving the class, that ball that she's holding rolled away down the stairs, and Harry brings it back to her. And then she gets like, what's the word? When something takes over your body.
Like possessed.
Possessed.
Well, Harry sees something in the ball too first.
Well, she gets like possessed though, and like, it takes over her. And she starts reading the
The
ball.
Dark Lord has returned.
From him. So she warns him that death may be on his horizon. That's all. That's what she's for.
Because she's not in it very much.
Nope.
So we see her again.
Is she in the? I think she is in another movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think she's in another movie. The
just
Grimm. Yeah, the Grimm.
What's the Grimm?
Death.
It's death.
Oh, okay. So, okay. All right.
Fun fact from the books to the movies that changed. Ron reads Harry's tea leaves in the movie, saying that you're going to suffer, but you'll be happy about it. It was actually reversed in the book, and it was Harry reading Ron's tea leaves that he would suffer and be happy about it.
So why do you think they switched it?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know. For me, Ron is my favorite character in the whole Harry Potter franchise. In the books, he's my favorite. And I believe that they don't do Ron very good justice in the movies whatsoever.
Oh, I like Ron in the movies. I like him in both. I think it matches very well.
I don't think it does very well.
Like, I think he's funny, and I think he's like a super best friend and loyal.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy.
So
I don't know.
So, Ryan, you said you don't like him in the books or don't like him in the movie?
No, I love him in the books. I love him in the movies too. The Golden Trio. I can't not like them, but there is just there's a difference between the two of them from the books to the movies. Okay. I believe that. It's the same with Neville. Like in the books, I remember Neville being in so much more stuff. Like for example, the train scene that we had earlier on with Loomis and the guys. Neville was in that train scene in the books. He was in there. He was there in that part.
Yeah, Neville was barely in this movie.
Yeah.
And he looks so much older.
When Harry runs away from home and Harry goes to the bus and he tells he meets the bus conductor, he tells the bus conductor his name is Neville Longbottom because he believes that if he's using magic outside of school, they could be tracking him and his name. So he tells people that he doesn't tell people he's Harry Potter until he eventually meets up with Neville at the shops and then explains to him he's been using his name. There's big differences, but very little things.
That's interesting. See, I don't know. See, sometimes I wonder why they take that kind of stuff out of movies. I don't know. Because I feel like that's a big deal.
And that's why I'm loving the TV show, because I've heard that they're going to be strict to the books. And if that is so, I am just going to be in awe because they're going to give me all the stuff I know from the books. And I'm pointing out little things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you a question. Shoot, now I forgot.
Sorry.
Well, that's all right. We'll keep going. I'm sure I'll think of it. All right, so we kind of talked a little bit about this already, because with the map. So Arthur Weasley, he has a little bit more of a role in this movie, and so he's the father of. He's got a bunch of kids. He's got Ron, and then Ginny, who again another character that is like literally in the movie for 3-4 seconds. And then we do get Fred and George, who have grown up a little bit at this point too, because they're definitely taller than everybody else. But again, we said last week, I think that they are like a year ahead of Ron, correct? Or a year or 2 years even.
At least, yeah, they're older.
They're older. Okay. So Lily, you said they stole the map in what? It was the Sorcerer's Stone,
When it
right?
was their first year. So when they were first years, they stole it out of Filch's office.
Okay, and this is all off screen. We do not see this.
Correct. And these two are troublemakers in a good, lighthearted way. Like they are the jokesters and kind of mischievous.
I feel like they're a typical set of twins in school year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never technically been around twins in school, but I would assume that if you would be very boisterous and very you'd get yourself in trouble because you've got someone to bounce off and say it wasn't me, it was him or her.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know if twins really do that. I mean, we've taught tons of twins. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe who knows? Who knows?
I mean, they've got each other's back more than anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to talk to about them? I know we kind of mentioned that they gave them the map.
Yeah. No, they're just really good. They're very good. They work with Harry later down the line with some things going forward. They're a cool joke shop that we're going to get to.
Okay.
And then I think
and Arthur also is he works in the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah, so that's going to be important in movies to come. So I think that's why they push his character a little bit in this one, so that later when you see more of the Ministry of Magic, he has the connection there.
Oh, so that's what his job is then?
Mm-hmm.
In the Ministry of Magic, he works in the misuse of Muggle artifacts.
Oh, okay.
And he's very into Muggle things. That's why he has the flying car and because he could just fly a broom. He's a wizard. He could fly a broom, but he decides, he wants Muggle artifacts and stuff like that. That's why the house is so crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, that
like a wizard engineer.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot more sense because I didn't even know he worked for the Ministry of the Magic. So that is helpful.
Yeah, within the misuse of Muggle artifacts.
Muggle. So give me an example of a Muggle artifact. Have we
like
seen it?
Yeah.
Like a teapot, and then he magicifies it.
Like everything that's in their house when you see that scene with the dishes washing themselves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So then we at some point in the show, in the movie, we head down to Hagrid, and he's teaching them about hippogriffs, and this is Buckbeak, and of course, Harry is the one who gets chosen. Well, I guess everyone kind of backs up, and Harry's the only one that doesn't. But it's cool because
into a little whining. I don't want to swear on the stream, but yeah, it turns into a little whining girl.
So he kind of goes up, and this part was strange. It's just like the whole you gotta walk up slow, and you gotta bow, and then the hippogriff will bow, and I don't know. And you gotta let him. He was trying to go pet him, and he's like, "Oh no, don't do it," because he's gonna attack or something. I just thought the whole thing was a little strange, the way it worked. I don't know. And then you guys can add more, maybe help me understand the whole point. Like, I know that they can ride them and all that kind of stuff because we end up seeing that. But, I don't know. The whole point, these beasts are that vicious and they're just bringing a whole bunch of little kids. I just feel like it might be a little unsafe. I don't know.
I think that's the point. So first of all, he's a hippogriff, and they give Hagrid a teaching job, even though he's not really a professor. And this is crazy, and it does go badly for Malfoy, who doesn't listen to directions. But it also shows that when Harry, who didn't really volunteer, everybody stepped back, which I thought was really funny. Then Ron gives him a little shove. Yeah. It shows that the animal knows, the creature knows that Harry is the good one. You know what I mean? And it's just showing that connection, I think. And it's a cool thing that you could ride. It's like a dragon.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a horse, Pegasus, eagle kind of thing. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. So now is he that's Harry's hippogriff? That's is it Danny and Drogon? No one else is gonna ride Drogon. Is it the same type of deal or?
Because I mean, Sirius rides away on the end.
Isn't? Oh, that's by himself. You're right. He does.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, it's not like that. But it won't just let anybody ride it.
Okay. And then so the whole plot here, so this is where I was. So this is where I just didn't understand what's going on. So why do they want to kill it? Like that's a big part of the movie
because it harmed Draco. It broke Draco's arm.
And remember, Draco has powerful parents. And,
so he went to
rich parents.
See, and this is another disappointing thing about this movie. They mention Lucius, but we don't even see him. And like it would have been nice to have him in this movie. And
Don't
I just
worry,
felt
he'll be back.
Yeah, I know that, but like it's just weird that like off screen, Draco right now is just like a big whiny baby, and he just goes to mommy and daddy, and he's a very annoying character.
Draco.
He needs to be.
Yeah. Okay. So he goes and says, "Well, he hurt me." Or what did he do to his arm?
He broke his arm, and he did that thing with his things and broke his arm.
Oh, he broke his arm. Okay, so he broke his arm, and he goes and cries about it. So they're like, "Oh, we're gonna kill the beast." Okay. Well, then that kind of sets up the end of the movie. For the most part, we think he dies. We see the
because you see the big come down.
Yeah, and we see, and as a viewer, I was like, okay, so that's fine. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. And then all of a sudden, we get this time machine. Please explain to me the time. What is it called? The time something?
Time turner.
Time turner. So number one, we're in the world that Hermione get this thing from. Number
Dumbledore.
two, and but we don't see it. Again, another thing we don't see.
Because you do later.
We don't actually see her get it from him.
It's a necklace.
Yeah, you do. You do see her. You do see him give it to her later on.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Thank you" or something like that, and he's like, "For what?" Like pretending like he doesn't know. But you can't know earlier, or else that would have been a spoiler for like how she's in two places at once and how she's taking two classes at a time. And that's how, when we thought we were seeing Buckbeak get, it was actually the pumpkin, because when they went back in time, they were like duplicated themselves. So they went out that back door and they released the hippogriff. And they were like, okay, you don't have a job to do here. So he actually hit the pumpkin and not the hippogriff.
Okay. And then he does that because he's pissed, basically.
Yeah. Like,
because the thing is not there anymore.
Yeah. And Ron drops lines all the way through this movie about Hermione not being there and always being in two places. It's just very subtle. And it just gets blown off every time that he says it. Like, there'll be a scene with Harry and Ron talking and there will be no Hermione. And then in the next scene, it'll be the same conversation and Hermione's there. And Ron will be like, wait a minute, you weren't here a minute ago. And she's like, of course I was. Wait, don't be silly. It literally lays the foundations without you even realizing all the way through the film. Until you find out about the time.
I don't know who they were talking to, but I did notice at one point in the movie before I knew any of this part, because this is like a total turn on the movie. Like I was not even expecting any of this. And that's when I really started liking it. The time travel part made it interesting and how they did it. But like there was definitely a scene where they're talking to somebody, and Hermione literally walks toward the camera and just goes around the corner. And I'm like, I thought that was kind of odd that she's like, why? Where is she going? Again, I don't remember exactly who they were talking to at that point. But yeah, then I kind of got that. After I saw what happened, I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense what she's doing. So, because like you said, during the whole movie, she's pretty much doing that then.
She's in multiple classes at once.
Yeah, so that makes me want to go back and kind of watch for those little spots.
That's the magic of Harry Potter. It makes you want to go back and watch it. Yeah. And even worse when we get discussion conversations like this, because you'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice that bit,
Yeah, you're right. I don't know anything else with the time travel part. I mean, we go back. I'm trying to think of the scenes. I mean, they kind of go back and see the whole Hermione punching Draco. That was awesome. Again, just shows that he's just so weak.
Yeah, he called her a filthy mudblood.
Mudblood.
Yeah, dirty.
I loved when Harry had the invisibility cloak on and he was kind of beating up him and Crabbe and dragging him through the snow. That was a good part.
Yeah. Oh, and we really didn't even talk about it, but the scene in Hogsmeade with Harry with the cloak, that was awesome too. And then that's when he finds out that Sirius is his godfather.
Yeah, which is another key part from the book that is different. How he finds out about his Sirius being his godfather when staying at the Weasleys, and he overhears Arthur and Molly talking, and Arthur says to Molly, "We need to tell him that Sirius is going to try and kill him," and he overhears that conversation. But then we later find it out in the bar, which is different in the movie. You know, it's very different. So they change a couple of actors from
but Sirius
Tom.
is a good guy.
Yeah.
So did Peter really want to kill Harry?
Peter Pettigrew, I believe, would have tried to, yes, because he was really faithful to the Dark Lord.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that Peter character in any of the movies. So I'll be interested to see how many.
He's just the rat. Whenever you see Ron with the rat, that's him.
But not moving forward, right?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like moving forward to the next movies, that's one character I never even remember seeing, and I just never knew about him.
I know exactly where I see him next. I can see the image right in my head.
They'll also refer to him as Wormtail, so pay attention to that when that comes up. That's his his alias from when they were kids.
Okay,
because they usually have those little animal names.
So the other question I have is, so Sirius Black, is he in any of the other movies?
Yeah,
he is. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why I don't remember this character. Like I didn't see this movie, and I don't know. Again, I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't really pay attention to who it was, because I never really knew who it was. I don't know. Again, it's a long time ago. So, all right. So we got about 7 more minutes here. So we'll scooch over to the end of the film. So we do see, and again, another cool scene that we did not talk about was when the kids were taking their biggest fears. And I think this is what they were saying to them, right? Expecto Patronum. Isn't that what they were saying to their fear? It's the same spell, or no?
I believe he was teaching them how to get rid of a boggart. The boggart came out of is that correct?
Yeah.
The boggart came out of the wardrobe, and it would imitate their biggest fear. One of them was a spider, one of them was a clown, and one of them ended up being a Dementor. And that's what they were saying to the boggart, Expecto Patronum.
Well, no, didn't they say ridiculous? Ridiculous.
Oh no, they did. No, they did. Correct.
And that made
they were saying ridiculous.
Something
You're right.
silly. And then for the real thing, when you need protection, you do this. You do Expecto Patronum.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So, but the spells were supposed to be similar. They were just doing that. So, okay.
So ridiculous turns it into something silly so that it goes away. But if that doesn't work and you need your Patronus, that's your protective shield, and that will protect you. And you have to go to your happiest, most powerful memory. So I think for Harry, it's probably the love of his parents, right, Milky?
Yep.
So why is it a stag then?
Each person has their own Patronus. Like when I took the quiz, mine is an Irish wolfhound.
Okay.
Do you guys know yours?
I don't remember it.
I remember having something like a rabbit.
Yeah, I'm sure it changed a couple of times. You did have a rabbit because you were complaining. Why have I got a stupid rabbit? Yeah, you were complaining. I've seen people get dragons and all sorts, and I get a dragon.
You can go to Wizarding World of Harry Potter on their site, and you can take a quiz to find out what your Patronus is as well. Super fun. Right.
All right, so his is a stag, but we don't really know why though.
They all have meanings behind them. So it just says different things about your personality and stuff like that. But
all right,
I think they also put it into the movie, didn't they? Because Harry didn't know that what Hermione was doing all the time, and he was always saying, "I saw my father's Patronus. My father was out there. He saved me. He saved me." And it was like, no, it wasn't. It was just you, Harry.
Yeah.
You know, when they spun it round.
All right. So according to Google, a good old Google, often regarded as a protector, a stag Patronus might indicate that you look out for others as well as shine in leadership roles.
Yeah, so that would explain why Rhaenyra sees the white stag.
Oh,
in
there you go.
Game of Thrones, because she's a protector and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So then at the end, so this is where I rewatched it twice because I really wanted to make sure I understood it. So all of these Dementors, they're all coming for Harry. For what reason, though? just because he's out and about. Like, this is where I was like, why are they only attacking him when there was a whole bunch of people that are outside at this point? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure. I was trying to figure out why are they all coming for him, where he's the one who has to, say the spell.
I genuinely don't remember why they're coming for him on the lake. I thought he was protecting something for some reason. Do we see Voldemort in this movie?
No,
with the unicorn. Wasn't he drinking the unicorn blood, or is that the next one?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't this one.
It wasn't the last one.
I thought it was this one.
No, we don't see Voldemort in this one. So, chat, is anyone in the chat know why is he the one being attacked by all the Dementors? Because like at this point, like there's more than there's more than just him out there.
So it says that I looked it up. It says that Harry has more sorrow and darkness in his past than most people, and the Dementors are drawn to that, and that's what they seek out. So like they were out to get Sirius because he was said to be a murderer, so they were seeking that. Harry naturally has that in his aura from all the sadness that he's experienced, so they're just simply drawn to it.
So
but it's a good catch, because even I didn't know why they were coming to him. So that's a good catch.
Yeah. Like I said, I watched it twice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So when we see, because he thinks he sees his father, which is actually, it ends up being him again with using the time turner. Is that what it's called? Time turner.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dementors can't. They don't know the presence of the other Harry at the same time, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he sees himself. Okay, so why do they go to this one and not the other one?
Oh.
Just because he's in
time travel.
Good continuity issues. Good points. Very good points.
Yeah, again, this is just
very confusing.
Yeah, these are just the kind of things I was kind of thinking about. I'm like, trying to make sense of it. Again, never really ever seeing this movie and not remembering if anything that happens in this movie moving forward even like really matters or continues on or anything like that. So just a couple of things I wasn't sure on. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and then we see Sirius fly off, and so again, and that's the other question too. Is like, okay, he flies off, but like, so why did the Dementors go follow him? Like they're not sensing him. I don't know.
Maybe for all you know, they could be. Sirius would take one for the team because that's the kind of person he is. That he leads them away from Hogwarts and away from Harry.
Because what happens so he uses the spell, but what happens? I mean, I feel like all of a sudden he uses the spell, and then all of a sudden we're back at Hogwarts, and everything's all happy again. Like what happened to all the Dementors then?
They went away. They were protected, so they're gone.
They all just went away. Okay.
Like the spell worked,
and that just makes them go away. They don't come back, and they're just okay. I don't know. Okay, I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay.
Still a kids movie at the end of the day.
yeah, I got you. I'm just like I said. This is what I do.
It's getting to preteen, but right now it's still. But I like your way of thinking. I do really enjoy how you come up with those differences of continuity, because I never once thought, why was Harry being attacked by Dementors? Because they sew it in so well all the way through the episode that they're just looking for Sirius.
And it seems like that's like his biggest fear. I mean, that's what he saw. So I mean, it's obviously this is about overcoming your fear too. I mean, it's obviously an underlying, part of the plot or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I don't know. Did I miss anything in the end here? And then it kind of ends. We see what's his name? Professor, help me out.
Lupin.
Lupin. Yeah, we see he's packing up. I mean, we kind of did miss. We didn't talk really about the little chase in this. I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but he does turn into a werewolf and does try to chase them down. And so it's just weird because I'm like, he didn't even like say sorry or anything like that. It's like, sorry for trying to kill you guys.
Yeah.
And it's just another odd part of the movie that I thought it was kind of just felt uneven a little bit, because I'm like, he just tried to kill you guys. Now he's like leaving and being best friends. I just thought it's just strange. Like maybe the book explains that more. I don't know.
In the book, I really don't remember him being so horribly. In the book, Lumin was a dog wolf. He looked more like a normal dog wolf, but in this, he's very much
More of a werewolf.
Underworld kind of werewolf.
Yeah, underworld. Yeah.
And it didn't fit for me because he was just a normal wolf in the book.
Interesting
werewolf,
that they changed it.
you know? So, yeah.
Change.
Very different. I don't know why they went with it, but it's Alphonse. You know, Alphonse was the director. He was very dark. He wanted to change things. And what did you think to this? You know, outgoing question. What did you think to this one where they didn't have uniform on?
They didn't have who?
Well, I noticed because they were, you know, when they were in the school, they had their uniforms on and they had their cloaks on. But when they were outside of the school, which we don't see as much of in the first two movies, they are in normal clothes. So it wasn't as weird as I once thought it was. Because like you said earlier, we're seeing them a lot outside of the school now.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot better.
And that's kind of a thing going forward. When we see them outside of the school, they're in normal clothes. They're not in uniform.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes
sense.
Because
if a Muggle did see them and they were in cloaks, that'd be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Not walking around London, it wouldn't.
I want to go there so bad.
I'm going 7th of July. I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
All right. So we have let's see. All right, so we'll kind of close this out then. We'll do our ranking. So this is what we have for the first two movies. So I have Sorcerer's Stone at a 7, Chambers 6.5, Lily about a half above me on there, and then Ryan, you're kind of like almost in the middle of us, kind of sorta. So Lily, you already said 10 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 10.
But it's
so
not
full
even
of magic. I mean, there's so much magic in this, and it's not the same old stuff that you saw inside of Hogwarts the first time with just, you know, candles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's so much to the plot on this one. And because it's when they introduce my favorite Sirius Black, I just think anytime this movie is on, you know, if it comes on TBS or anything like that, I'm watching it. Like I would never turn this movie off. So it's a 10 for me.
Okay. So, but it's not your favorite. So you're going to have two 10 out of 10s.
Only because there's another one that has such epic stuff happen in it. And it wasn't my favorite book, this other one, but they did the movie so well. Okay. It's probably the same one for Milky, I think.
Okay. And that's fine. I mean, you can have more because we proved that when we did our Star Wars rankings, you can definitely have more than one of the same score. So I'm going to butcher this.
Wonderful presentated slideshow.
That's we spelled prisoner wrong. See,
just put POA.
Prisoner.
AZK.
AZK.
Spelling for you.
Yeah, AZKABAN.
There you go. Oh, of course, I'm one character too far though. Because why would that not happen on a live? So dumb.
You could probably fix that later.
Yeah,
guys, let us know what your scores on the chat as well. Tell Talks, Poppy Missouri, Sue, you know, everyone that's still here, Donald, Duck, let us know. Donald and Duck. There you go.
Yeah.
And do you guys love Sirius Black as much as I do? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I mean, I do, but like, I just wish he was in the movie more. That's my only, like, the movie's all about him, and I feel like he's only in like 4 scenes and only at the last hour. I don't know.
You'll see more of him though.
I hope so, because I don't really remember that character, so that's another, you know. So yeah, we'll see. All right, Milky, what do you have this movie ranked?
8 out of 10.
8. So this is gonna take your top spot as well. Okay.
Respectable.
So far, yeah. 8 out of 10. It's a very fantastic watch. I never get bored of watching this from the minute 1 to minute end. It's one of the movies that takes me into just enjoying it more. The first 2 I can recite to you word for word. I can tell you what line is coming next by just pausing it and saying who says it and all that stuff. The third one doesn't have that effect on me. I just sit back and I enjoy the movie. So that's one of the reasons why it's scored higher. Sirius Black becoming a key part in the story is amazing. Marauder's map is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that Dumbledore would have kept the line in the film that he says his speech at school, and he says a line in the book, and he looks directly at Harry and says, "Even the invisibility cloak will not work against Dementors." And because he says that out loud to the school, but he looks directly at Harry when he says it. That's left out in the movie.
In there.
Yeah, they should have kept it in. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. What about you, Headless? And be honest. If it changed for us, if it changed for you during the live, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. You know, I know at the beginning you weren't very happy about it.
Yeah.
Has that changed?
So I still don't like the beginning. It's just 20 minutes of the movie that could have been cut. Honestly, they could have just done something a lot faster. I mean, we already know the parent, his aunt and uncle don't like him, and they don't want to have him, and it could have just been quicker. You know, and the whole, you know, I like the scene of him practicing the spells under the blankets, but again, they do it like 3 or 4 times in a row. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, do we need to keep doing it? You know, then the light goes out the window this time because it's a maximum Loomis or whatever. And I don't know. The whole blow up the aunt or whatever, whoever the heck I don't even know who she was. That's how unimportant that character is to me. The bus part was fine. I just thought it was weird with the heads, you know. But again, these are all like little nitpicky things.
I agree with you with the heads.
Yeah, I just think the first hour and 15 minutes of the movie, I was really bored. I was like, I can't believe they liked this movie the best. But the second hour, I really liked it. It was probably the best Harry Potter I've seen so far in the 3 movies. So it's hard.
Your favorite book?
Yeah. Your favorite book, okay, but you guys did say you guys both liked the movie. I mean, you gave it a 10 and an 8. That's pretty high. I'm torn because coming into this, I was gonna say a 7. I was gonna just have it maybe a touch above Sorcerer's Stone, but it probably would have had Sorcerer's Stone a little bit higher still, just because, you know, it's like the first one, and you get to know the characters, and you just get more of the 3 characters together. It's really strange. And this is just a general like, just be watching the first 3 movies all within a week now. I just feel like those 3 main characters are not that together as much as I think. I don't think that all 3 of them are on screen enough in the first 3 movies. And maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It always seems like Hermione's missing, or
that's part of the story though, because of the time turner.
Yeah, I get it, but like I don't know. I feel like in the later movies, I think they're together more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my memory.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he has a good point, Lily. Think of Goblet of Fire, and his exact remark that he's just made. Goblet of Fire is pretty much in my opinion, pretty much the same. It's all about Harry, really.
Yeah, I just feel
Ron
like
doesn't get much,
especially Hermione. Honestly, like, I understand that's like Hermione. I beside the couple of big scenes with her and Harry, you know, using the time thing, and I get that's part of the storyline, but I just feel like she's never in these movies. Last movie, she was frozen or petrified for more than half the movie. I don't know, it's just very odd that like I thought it was 3 main characters, and then, you know, Harry is obviously the lead. I don't know. Again, that's just kind of like how I've been watching it, and I'm kind of like shocked that like they're not all together more. Harry seems to be by himself a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. I like it how you say at the beginning of the movie that it dragged on for you and it was annoying.
No, it was terrible. I just thought it was terrible.
Quick thing for the book. Petunia, I think her name is. She stays at that house for a week in the book. It takes Harry 3 days to do what he does to her by blowing her up. Whereas in this film, it's in one day.
His aunt.
Yeah, not Petunia. It's the other one. I forget her name.
Yeah. It's Tell Talks in the chat too said 7.5. I actually really like the scenes before you get to Hogwarts. I do too. I love the bus ride.
I don't know.
I liked all that.
I just feel like you could have done that in 10 minutes, had him leave. If you want to use the bus, fine. I just thought it was kind of unnecessary. Yeah, it's cool looking, but like I would rather have got to Sirius Black story a lot quicker. I like the scene on the train. That was awesome. But then again, after that, I feel like there's another half an hour where I'm like, oh my God, when's something going to happen? And that's all I kept thinking is like, when is there something going to happen? And then, then the last 45 minutes are pretty darn good.
Did you catch the two actor changes that they did? Very small, but they changed 2 actors in this movie.
Who?
I mean, Dumbledore, but
So they changed. Well, no. So technically 3. So Dumbledore, the fat lady, in the Hogwarts fat lady.
The
She
picture,
was
the
in a
Gryffindor picture.
yeah, the fat lady in the
we didn't
door,
even talk about
and also the bartender Tom that is at the pub that meets. In this one, he's hunchback, but in the first one, he's just stood up
Oh,
normally.
no, I didn't
Oh
notice that.
yeah, the Hunchback dude. When I was watching this yesterday, I almost messaged both of you. I said, "Why is Uncle Fester in Harry Potter?" That's all I kept thinking.
Yeah.
That's all I kept thinking.
If you take the bald head and buck teeth of him and the normal posture of the first guy, you get exact book accurate character for Tom.
So
the
why
bartender.
did they do that not from the beginning then?
Yeah, I don't know.
See, again, but again, that's something so small I didn't even notice it. Honestly,
Yeah, I know.
I was about to.
I just had it in my notes, and I was like, I'm gonna say it. I didn't want to not say it.
Yeah, I was gonna message you guys, and then all of a sudden he's off screen, and we don't even see him again. So I'm like, well, he's not that important then. I don't know. I guess to make this a long story short on this, I will give it. It's so hard because I wouldn't want to sit through the whole movie again. I would skip. I would skip to the second half. I'll give it I'll give it a 7 because I think it's better than Chambers, but I don't think it's better than Sorcerer's Stone.
Okay.
7's still a good score.
So I'm gonna give it a 7, but
I didn't really enjoy.
It's gonna be behind. Yeah, I think that's about right.
Cool.
But again, I don't want to make you I don't want you guys to think I didn't enjoy it. I did like the movie. It's just, I guess it's that thing with the prison. I really thought we were going to a prison and it was going to be something completely different than regular.
Yeah, but you just made that up in your head. You have
I
no
did.
reason to have
No,
thought
you're
that.
right. You're right. I did. I completely made that up in my head. No, you're completely right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. Let me get the last one.
All right, so the next one is going to be when?
So tomorrow it's 7:45 over on Ryan's channel, and it will be the Goblet of Fire. And I don't remember anything from this movie. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
Not a thing. I don't remember.
That's where it ramps up for me.
This is where it wraps up? Ramps up.
This is where the story ramps up for me. Can't wait for it.
Okay. Yeah, and again, this, I feel like this movie that we just watched compared to now after we're talking, I just feel like it basically introduced 2 characters that are important moving forward, but we had to wait 2 hours and 20 minutes to get there.
Oh, I totally disagree with you, but
okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we learned about the hippogriffs. We learned about the Patronus or whatever. Is that what I'm saying it right? Patronus.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think they could have done a better job explaining that, to be honest with you. Because I mean, I still didn't understand it after the end of the movie. I mean, maybe I just wasn't paying attention when they were talking about it, but I don't know. I had so many questions. I had more questions about that part than anything else. Just understanding the ending of that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. So chat, see Poppin. Charles said he thinks it's an 8, so he agrees with you. I know I saw a 7.5. Yeah, there's Teletalks. I don't know. Anyone else in the chat? What do you guys rank this one out of 10 before we get out of here? And we'll kind of do our sign off here because I'm curious. I mean, am I way off base of being that low as a 7? I mean, I want to know if the chat thinks that what movie they like better, Sorcerer's Stone or this one. I mean, because I think my brother even told me he likes this movie too. And when I told him I never saw it, when I told him we were doing this, he's like, I can't believe you never saw that movie. He's like, that's probably one of the best. And then Lily,
did your brother read the books?
I think he did actually.
And I think that makes a huge difference, but doesn't devalue what you're saying, because you not having read the books, if it makes it too confusing to follow in the movie, then they didn't do a good enough job in explaining the plot. We understand what's going on because we read the books. So, it is what it is there.
Well, honestly, it's kind of like season 3 of Mandalorian. If you didn't see Rebels, if you didn't watch a Book of Boba Fett, you literally have no idea what was going on in the season of Mando 3. I mean, I know it's not a book, but it's like those different little parts that if you don't watch it all, you are going to be lost.
No worries, Crash Test. You can watch the replay, buddy.
Yeah, watch the. Oh, it seems a bit. Okay, yeah. Watch the replay. Let us know in the comments, then, man, because like that's what I want to do. I want to have conversations because I really am trying to get into the lore and understanding, and I love seeing other people's opinions or talking with people about it. Because I mean, you guys definitely boosted my score. I mean, I probably was going to be more like a 6.5 or 6 even on this. So you guys definitely brought it up to a full point for me.
Good. Watch it again.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm definitely gonna watch the last half. I'm gonna watch. I actually might. I was gonna try to watch part of the other movie, finish up the other movie tonight. I'm just gonna have to get home early tomorrow and make sure I get that watched because I kind of want to watch the last hour of this again just to kind of after talking to you guys see what it's all about now and see how I feel about it because maybe because again I did change 2 of my rankings after talking to Ryan off screen. We were talking and I brought down 2 of my scores. I think I was originally 7.5 and a 6.5 and I brought it down. So maybe this one is, maybe this one does bump up more. So we'll find out tomorrow because I'll probably edit it by tomorrow. All right. Any final things you guys want to say, or we're just going to be going to Goblet and that's it?
Yeah, we're going to go into Goblet tomorrow. It's going to be more like the same of this kind of stream. We're not going to do the same as we did last week. We're going to have like a detailed breakdown of the movie because me and Headless have both got backstage together after last week's live, and we had more of a detailed conversation together backstage than we did on the live stream. We felt
and
like if you're here watching this with us, then you've already seen the movie, so we don't really need to show you scene by scene of what you've already just watched. So that was kind of a mistake going forward from last week. I don't know if it's a mistake or not a mistake, but that's what I did in the past, and that's what I thought might work with this, and it didn't. So, but I really enjoyed tonight's live stream. It was definitely a more open conversation, and we were learning. All 3 of us were learning things from the Harry Potter franchise. So that's probably what we'll do tomorrow. We'll do a very similar thing. We'll introduce the new characters, and we'll just go through the plot very happenstance as we go through it. But yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be fun. And Lily, thank you for your knowledge again. You are the brainy one of the 3 of us for sure.
Maybe I am a Ravenclaw.
Oh, see?
and everyone in the chat, don't forget to go and do your test on the website. Go and find out what Patronus you have. Go and find out what house you belong to. Go do all that. Screenshot it. Send it me on Instagram, and I'll showcase it tomorrow on the stream. Yeah. If you send me a screenshot on Instagram of what you are in the Harry Potter world, I will showcase it tomorrow on the live stream. There you go.
And please go sub over to Lily. We actually just did a combo video. We dropped this yesterday actually. Check it out. See if it's your kind of thing here. It was good. It was fun. It was something completely different.
I watched on Lily's channel. Sorry to cut you off. I watched on Lily's channel Bad Bunny in an amazing suit, and then I watched on wrestling Bad Bunny get his head kicked in because he was in WWE wrestling last night. So it was real fun. Wow. Where do we take the quiz? Says Crash Test.
Yeah, I'm pulling up
the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Just go to their website, and they have all of the quizzes for your Patronus, your house, which kind of wand. My wand would be made of cedar, and those all say things about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. That's me for this week. Catch me tomorrow.
We cannot hear you, Headless Ned.
Oh, I must have hit it. I was trying to get the link for him. It's just wizardingworld.com. It's all it is. And you just, it's easy to find. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Lily, Ryan, thank you so much. You guys have definitely helped me understand the story a little bit more. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow night now for sure. So, all right, everybody, we're out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, I'll be dropping a new Clone Wars reaction video tomorrow. It is the final arc of the Mandalore arc from season 2. And then on Tuesday, we'll be starting up season 3. So moving along.
Night Sisters.
Night Sisters. It's going to be a double, too, on Ryan's channel. A double episode because we're trying to make up for the one we missed. So it's going to be a double episode. So
you can tell I'm excited about Night Sisters. I can't wait to get to Tuesday.
Night Sisters, that was a good episode. Those are 2 good episodes. So. All right, everybody. Check me out on Patreon if you're interested. I just dropped the whole Mandalorian arc. You can actually get that early if you go check out Patreon tonight. And I think that's about it. So again, thank you to you guys for coming out with me tonight. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And like always, don't forget, keep those heads on.